It did end. We just restarted. I don't know what that will do to it. And I apologize for not catching that. I don't know why it didn't show on my screen as stopping.
Is there any way we can play back where we ended so Ms. Jones can cover the information shared?
We should be able to see where it cut off.
Okay. And I was just thinking, I'm certainly happy to go through those last numbers if it cut off maybe 3 minutes ago. That helps.
All right, just please hold for just one moment because we're not streaming. We're not streaming under boards and commissions, so please hold.
Yeah, it looks like we're streaming under governance at 2 o'clock now.
It seems that you cut off right after you repeated the numbers on how many applicants per impact area were received.
Okay, then. So I will just, not sure if this was part of what was cut off, but I will also repeat the fact that out of the 25, 18 are city residents, 6 are county residents, and 1 applicant, unfortunately, was not eligible because they are not a resident of the city nor the county.
Yeah, I think that came after. I think that may have been the part that was cut off before we noticed we were offline.
Okay, but still very, very excited about the response. And so I am going to shift now to the rubric that the project team created. And this,
Ms. Jones,
oh, yes.
Have we verified if we're live or not? Jerry, are we live?
We're still streaming under governance, so we are trying to get it straightened out.
Okay, we're just going to take a brief break so we can get back online.
Yes.
If I hope that you're on it, it's
I know, Rick's on it. Yeah.
You okay?
It's still live?
Still live under governance on YouTube. Trying to get it back. Okay, we should be able to, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, we should be able to go ahead and continue streaming. We will change the title and all of that behind the scenes.
Correct, that's being worked on now.
And so should I repeat those numbers once again? Just, okay.
If you would, please. Sorry. Thank you, Deborah.
Oh, no, not a problem at all. So for the applications for the impact focus areas, we had 25 in total. 18 of those applicants are city residents, 6 are county residents, and 1 unfortunately was ineligible because they are not a city nor a county resident. But very excited about the response from the community as it relates to all applications. So the next area that I want to cover very quickly is a tool that the project team created. It's a scoring rubric for council members and commissioners to use if they choose for their selection process for the appointments to the commission. This rubric really focused on 8 factors based on questions in the applications. And I'm going to go through those factors very quickly here, but they are also on the scoring scale tab of the scoring template. So the very first factor is the level of knowledge or expertise in one of the impact focus areas. So we're trying to figure out if this individual has depth of experience or knowledge in one of the impact focus areas, and if so, which one of the 5. So the template asks that you rate in just one of those 5 categories for that applicant. The next factor is the level of personal impact from systemic racism. And we're talking about has this applicant had a lived experience as it relates to being personally impacted from systemic racism. The third factor is the length of residency in either the city or the county. And we have pre-populated the template for that particular factor. The fourth factor is the level of knowledge or expertise in multiple impact focus areas. There are some applicants that come with experience in several areas, and so there will be some weighting for those that have experience or knowledge in multiple areas. And then it's we're looking at the significance of their response to what contribution they believe they will make if selected. Also, what they hope to achieve, what is their goal in participating, and then the significance of the statement related to why they are interested in serving on the commission. And then lastly, we are giving some weight to those applicants that are native to the city. And that's really based on community input and the importance that the community has placed on that particular factor as well. So on that scoring scale, you will see each of those factors, how much weight we are applying in this rubric. Once again, only a suggested tool. And then how each response is scored for each of those factors. As we look at the worksheet itself, what we have done is we have a column for each applicant. You can click on a link and you have 2 choices really in reviewing that application. You can either look at all responses, the entire application, or just the scored only responses. Just totally a choice on the reviewer's behalf. And then for, once again, for factor 1, you will select one of those 5 and just make a selection from the drop-down list. In the case of level of knowledge or expertise in an impact focus area, the choices are high, moderate, average, limited, minimal, or none expressed. Once again, for just one area. And you'll see the other drop-down choices in that scoring scale. One of the tabs also shows those choices as well. And so once those selections are made, we did create a tab that calculates the total score applying those weights, just so that you have some appreciation for who is rated the highest. And that information can help in making an informed decision in that selection process. Once again, strictly optional, but just wanted to offer it as an aid and as a tool based on some of the discussions that we've had as a project team and some of the public input that we have received around the application. Any questions about that?
I'm not going to start with a question, but I will say this is fantastic. Because as I was going through, what you provided made it so much easier for me on this end. The only thing that was missing, and has nothing to do with you, is I would be inclined to actually interview everybody to see, because sometimes on paper and what is presented, may feel or look a little differently. So how would you weight an interview, or would there be a way for me to weight what I saw in the interview fairly? And I guess this is a math question or something, to tie it in. Like, I don't know that I want the interview to be 30. How would I do that? Or would I just need to use the same number for everybody?
Right.
Yeah,
my suggestion with that would be to still use the same rubric. You might have one score, prior to an interview, and then afterwards, just in contrast, because some of your responses might change based on what comes out of that interview. I think that the factors would still probably be the same, but to your point, you are absolutely right. There probably is some built-in bias also in those comfortable with answering some of these questions through this online medium. And they may feel better about expressing, or vice versa. So I would just recommend taking the highest score, whether it's from the interview or the review of the application, and making that final determination after both.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
So I think I heard a recommendation in your comment, but I'm not sure. But it's saying the action of this committee today was to decide on how many applications will move forward for interview. But I feel compelled, based on the number of excellent applications we received and their expressed expertise and live experience, I feel compelled to move all of them forward to full council interview. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Any comments?
This is Kim. I'll just say thank you for the suggestion. I agree.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney,
Aye.
and myself, aye. The motion carries. We'll hear all of these applicants in a larger interview. I don't know what date we have, Sarah.
That's what I was hoping to talk about
Okay.
next. If the goal is to make it to appointments at the next council meeting, which is February 22nd, we would need to hold these interviews before then. I'm recommending or suggesting, and let me just start out by saying we cannot hold the interviews that day, the 22nd, because there's already a scheduled work session. So I wanted to ask this committee and then the council, would Tuesday the 15th in the afternoon be available? If we're interviewing all and they're each 10 minutes, we're looking at a 3-hour window. So we'll say 3.5 hours with breaks. So recommended February 15th, which is Tuesday, 1 to 5, if you'll just block that. Deborah, I see your hand.
Yes, I just wanted to just also note that the aim is to have, one appointee per impact focus area. Just wanted to make a note of that. That is also just an aim. And hoping that between the council and the commissioners that we have great coverage. Secondly, we would love to have the council share the names of those that they did not select for that final 5 with the commissioners, so that they could make a determination, because as you've already noted, these are some great candidates. Every applicant is worthy of consideration, and just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to do that. And so just wanted to highlight those 2 points.
Okay, so time-wise, let's just say that we could not come to a determination on a specific focus area, and we wanted to maybe open up applications for just that area. Let's just say for criminal justice. Do we have enough time on you all's timeline to open up the applications just for the specific area?
The direction that I have received from City Manager Campbell is that we do not want to compromise quality over deadlines. And I'm going to have to defer to Brenda, but I think that it's too critical that we do it right. And if you all need more time, if we need to open it back up for a particular impact focus area, I believe that would certainly be something that we can do.
And if not selected, if an applicant is not selected, but they still wanted to remain deeply involved, how would that be made available?
Right. So there are a number of different forms in which that can happen. We're looking at personal testimonies, panelists. They may have other ways in which they may want to participate, because the solicitation was not just for applicants, but also for individuals and organizations that want to support the work of the commission. And so we would certainly keep them on the distribution list for a whole host of different ways to engage, because there will be a lot of community engagement throughout this entire process.
Any more comments?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, fine.
No, I was just saying nothing will be lost.
Okay. Any more comments?
I had one question. If we are looking to not make our timeline the thing that's getting in the way, is it wise to have 2 times for folks to be able to interview? Or are we going to stay with the 15th?
What are you asking? Half on one day and half on the other?
Well, yeah, I just wonder if having 2 options, if there was another day that folks could choose between, might make it possible to include more people. I'm thinking about that specifically when I looked at the times of day that folks are available to have this commission meeting moving forward. And if we only stay with the limitations of council's Tuesday schedule, then we might miss an opportunity to interview folks.
Let me ask this. How much time per interviewee were we planning on allotting? I'm not that great with math that I can say, 18 and 4 hours means, but what are we doing?
Typically, we have done 10 minutes for interviews, which would put us at 3 hours. And if we were to go down to 5, that'd be 1.5 hours. And then, of course, allowing for some breaks if we were to do it in one segment. Let me just say administratively, we can definitely do 2 different days. Just need to work through blocking schedules.
So I'm curious if having a morning option might be a possibility.
The morning option could be possible, but we do have HCD on that day. So it would probably be better for us to do a Monday and Tuesday if we're trying to work around applicants' availability.
Okay, so potentially it could be Monday, the 14th in the morning, and then Tuesday, the 15th in the afternoon.
Or let's just work at ground zero to see if folks are available, because, you know, we might be thinking through all this in vain. But I think it's good that we discuss it in case applicants aren't available during that time of day. On that day, we might have to split it and give an option. So I would say check their availability for a Tuesday. And then if we have a number of folks, or if we have folks who can't make it, then we have to offer in an alternate day.
I prefer that approach.
Well, that seems it. Thank you, Ms. Jones, always. Ms. Deborah, I can't get away from calling people Miss Deborah. Miss Salah and Miss Deborah for being here. This has been a very thorough process. Thank you for all your hard work. I look forward to working with you all throughout the remainder of this process.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you very much. Have a wonderful day.
All right. All right, Jerry, you have some information to share?
Yes, so we pulled both applications, and one does state city, one does not state city, but we did check the address, and she is not within the city limits. Ashley Wilberding. She is a county resident.
Okay, so with that said, we'll re-advertise for the African American Heritage Commission. Since none of the 3 applicants are within the city limits. And as far as the Human Relations Commission, those 2 vacancies, we have to eliminate Ashley Wilberding from that pool. And we have 3 other folks who are eligible. Is there a recommendation for appointment?
This is Kim. I'm just going back to those applications. So it looks like from where we're at now, we have 2 eligible city residents for the HRCA that are in the city limits, correct? That would be Amanda Benson Bremseth and Michael Brown.
That is correct, as far as city residents.
And with no recommendation from staff or their chair, would you as the liaison want to make a recommendation? Because I don't really have a strong recommendation here.
Well, in this situation, I mean, we're considering thinking about the end in mind, which is often something that we're asked to do. Thinking about our goals and also the reports that we're going to review in just a moment. And so we have 2. We can fill 2 seats. We did just have the HRCA retreat, or we can re-advertise to try to meet our targets as far as our endeavors to appoint. I am satisfied with the recommendation to appoint Amanda Benson Bremseth and Michael Brown to the HRCA.
I'll second.
Okay. I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
And myself, aye. The motion carries. Okay, that's all for appointments on today. We move to unfinished business. I believe that there is a update on our annual reports.
Got just a little background with the annual reports. The boards and commissions policy does require that all of our boards submit these annual reports by January 31st of every year. As you can see in the report, we have linked the ones that we did receive, and then also pulled out any recommendation and fiscal impacts that were specifically called forward. Noting that we do provide a template, so you'll see that they should be pretty consistent. And then I didn't know, do we want to talk through specific ones?
Do you usually ask why a person failed to report?
We do send reminders and let them know that we have not received it, but we don't specifically ask why. We can.
This is Kim. For me, I am just really incredibly grateful that we have so many volunteers who bring their professional and lived experience to advise us on our budget plans and policies. And I especially appreciate the attention given to our Living Asheville Comprehensive Plan and the council goals when those recommendations are made. We have a lot of information here. It shows me there was a lot of opportunity for public engagement, public comment, and also, for an example, from the last Multimodal Transportation Commission, efforts from those advisors to reach out into the public on our behalf. And so it's a tremendous volunteer effort. There are certainly ways that it can be improved. And I would love to see if we can get reports, even if they're after the deadline, from the remaining groups. I noted that the Greenway was counted as one, the Greenway Committee, but that's a subcommittee of the Multimodal Transportation Commission. So even our subcommittees are providing reports and making recommendations.
Definitely, we'll follow up with those who did not submit.
Thank you, Sarah.
Any other comments on annual report? Okay, being none, we'll move on to public comment.
We do not have any callers in the queue.
All right. Is there anything else to cover today from committee or staff? All right, meeting adjourned.